Alrighty, welcome to another video. We just hit 70 subscribers, so thank you so much for that. Road to 100 now. So as always, if you want to subscribe, do go ahead and do so. If you like weather-related breakdowns, especially on the tropics, and what could impact you from those storms on your location. But today we're going to be taking a look at 97L, 98L, and we might take a quick look on this new disturbance. We'll be mainly focusing on 97L, 98L, so it is going to be a little bit of a longer video. But we do have three systems in a row, okay? So we have 97L here, and then behind it 98L, and then behind it what will soon be 99L. So believe it or not, we actually have three potential tropical cyclones or hurricanes in a row. We have this coming that way, this one coming this way, and then this one looks to be coming that way. So we have three tropical systems in a row, believe it or not, which is something pretty darn crazy for this time. But let's first have a look at 97L, which is this one, by the way, which, by the way, have been up to a 60-80% chance. 98L has a 90% chance, and then 99L, or it's going to be 99L, has a 30% chance. Here's 97L. The image is delayed, so that's not the current up-to-date one, but it does give us a little bit of an idea of what it was looking a couple hours ago, if it is a little bit delayed. So we're seeing convection blowing up more and more. It's getting a whole lot better organized. Let me switch to black here. But we're seeing this getting a lot better organized, and we've also been seeing this moving a lot more towards the north here, where yesterday this was, all the way down here, almost over South America, and now this has moved all the way up to here. It is now likely, though, to continue moving pretty much west, and we could see this becoming really developing after Jamaica there. So when it passes this black line, I think we should see this really developing out. Yesterday, we did have lots of dry air inhibiting the development of this. That seems to have collapsed a little bit, but we now have a whole lot more thunderstorm activity on the sharp wave axis, and we do have maybe some banding happening to the south and north of it, some slight banding here and there, but we still remain with a very disorganized system, but seems to be getting its act together. Here's the current track for 97L, and the trend has been towards a track more towards the eastern Gulf, where yesterday most models actually brought it into the Yucatan Peninsula here. Now the track has been towards a storm, maybe clipping or going right on the edge of the Yucatan Peninsula and then shooting straight north towards Louisiana here. So we're a little bit more certain on where the system is expected to go. So here's the current color for this right now. And it tells you what it tells you: Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, even maybe Texas here. But right now, most models bring it to Louisiana, which seems to be right now the most likely option. But I'm not ruling out still maybe a panhandle landfall here. But Louisiana seems to be right now the most likely. In terms of models, we've been trending towards maybe a tropical storm, but a little bit stronger storm now. Most models, every single model, well, pretty much most models bring into a tropical storm in the next 36 hours, and as late as the next 84 hours. Two models don't strengthening at all into a tropical storm, but that is likely to be wrong here. So it does show a strengthening and then weakening. I think that weakening is when it hits the Yucatan Peninsula, maybe. And we'll actually have a look on the 84 hours. So that weakening in 84 hours is actually when it would be over the Yucatan Peninsula here. So those are for the models that would bring it really over the Yucatan Peninsula. I personally don't think it will weaken that much. But a track, I think it will strengthen, weaken a little bit, and then strengthen back up. And category 1 is definitely not out of the question, although no model show it quite yet. Now we're having a look at 98L, and we have a brand new blow-up of convection, which could help bring this to tropical storm or tropical depression status. With the low center right now being around here, this new blow-up, let me change to black again here. This new blow-up of convection here could help strengthen this to a tropical storm, or at least tropical depression, if it is able to blow up over the center and really get a more defined center of convection instead of just having dispersed bands of convection. Where we seen earlier we actually had one blow up to the north, one blow up to the east, and then another big blow up to the south here. Now most of them has collapsed except the southern one, which is not collapsing. But I think this new blow up of convection here could become the new center of convection, and from then it could really organize. So if we do get this to blow up more, we could be seeing a much more organized system. But right now, it seems to have very close to a close center, if not already a close center here, with once again the low pressure being around here, and when it's pretty much almost a close center, and it has also separated from that monsoon trough or sucked it up, which is why it is now able to strengthen a whole lot more. Here's the current tracks for 98L, and as you can see, most tracks do bring it towards. We've been seeing also a trend towards the track a little bit more towards the north. That's the trend. But basically, the weaker it gets, the more towards the south it will go. The stronger it gets, the more northern it will go. But I do especially think this will get a little bit stronger than what most models expect. But it is right now. Again, I do like to draw codes for this system just to kind of give you an idea where it could go uh, and where it's expected to go. And that seems like a pretty good cone, with the landfall being most likely in Florida here, where we have most models bring it towards Florida. Um, One or two models bring it all the way into the Gulf, but at this point, that's getting less and less unlikely. A couple models do show it clipping Florida and hitting Louisiana here, but it does look like with this high pressure system here, the high pressure is going to be looking a little bit like the high pressure is going to look a little bit here. Let's see here, like this, right? So what I think is going to happen is it's going to go right around this high pressure here, which would potentially make it a landfall towards Florida, and I think that could definitely happen there. But most models bring it right north, or right like on the northern side of Cuba, Dominican Republic, Hispaniola, and then curve it maybe a little bit towards the north here. So that is definitely something we need to keep an eye on. Here's the models for 98L. We've seen once again also a trend towards a weaker storm, which I mean personally I don't think it's gonna get that weak. But one model showing a Cat 4, and honestly, it's not out of the possibility. It is not out of possibility. And to give my honest opinion, I think Laura, if this becomes Laura, will be her first major. Now, I don't like doing this. I don't like saying, oh, it will be her first major, because then, I don't like saying people freak out and it might be wrong. But I do expect this to, sorry, I'm making a cookie. I do expect this to strengthen a lot more than those models are saying. And, at least a category 1 with this. So really, I think it's going to be a tropical storm in the next 24 hours. And I see this strengthening, kind of staying there, and then really fastly strengthening to Cat 2, Cat 3. My predictions there could be wrong, but also we have a little bit of two groups. We have the slow strengthening towards Cat 1 group, and then we have the staying very weak tropical storm group. So those are kind of the two groups. But honestly, I mean, HMNI really, you're not out of the question. It is an outlier, but it's possible. It's very, very possible. Now, I wanted you guys to see this because this is the HWRF model, and it shows something really interesting. It's a simulated like what it could look in terms of infrared loop, and really, I think they're pretty accurate because you can see here that new blow up here, right here, and if we go to the HWRF here, this is what expected to look in 6 hours. And with what it looks like right now, with the southern bend collapsing and something in the middle really blowing up in convection, I wonder if the HWRF wasn't onto something in terms of convection in the next 6 hours. Because right now they're pretty accurate with the northern part collapsing, the southern part collapsing, but the kind of center part blowing up a little bit. And right now they're pretty accurate, so that's what I wanted to show you. But look at what it shows. In the next 12 hours, we get a lot of convection with this. As you can see right here. Lots of convection. And then as we get the next 24 hours, it's actually, or 18 hours, it actually blows up in convection. It actually could be a very strong system. And look at that, continues to blow up during the next 30 hours, continues, weakens slightly. That could be due to some wind shear, but nonetheless, still an impressive system. And as we get towards the Leeward Islands there, look at it. Look at it right before Puerto Rico. Category 1 hurricane right before Puerto Rico there. Looks absolutely amazing. And then look at this thing. It continues to look absolutely amazing. And then we're seeing here, it's actually, believe it or not, I'm pretty sure it's a Cat 1 hurricane at least. And then it continues to blow up over Hispaniola. Becomes a absolutely massive hurricane, where whatever how strong it is. And I'm not saying it's going to be as strong, but again, it has the potential for it, with the way it's looking. I think it's going to be a little bit weaker than that. But also, let me just show the wind just to, in reference. You just saw the simulated IR. So if we look at the winds in comparison, so it remains at 30 knots, maybe a tropical depression, 6 hours they're showing. And then it becomes a uh, a 45, 50 mile per hour, remains around 50, and then it starts to strengthen to 70 mile per hours, or my bad, 60 mile per hours, 85, 70, 76, 86 knots, or knots by the way. And then it strengthens to a Cat 1, and then a Category 2 here, and then 114 knot. I think that's still a Cat 2, and it remains at around Cat 1 status, but it actually peaks as a Cat 2 on this model run, and it remains a pretty much a Cat 1, Cat 2 all the way over um, Cuba. And I think it will go a little bit more north of this track, but what they're showing is definitely possible. And so since we're looking at this, I'm very quickly going to look at this for the 97L as well, and look at the simulated infrared imagery, because I think it's really interesting to watch, and I like it a lot. So let's look at this one. Right now, once again, spot on with this. Spot on. Look at it right now. It's blowing up in convection, getting organized. Look at it on the model. They're saying, it's going to get better organized in convection. And they're spot on. They're spot on. So, they're right. But they show it continuing to get organized and absolutely blow up in convection right north and really, really strengthen. It actually goes right between Cuba and the Yucatan Peninsula there, and continues to absolutely become a monster and actually makes landfall in Florida there. Again, I mean, they could be right because they're right with how it's looking right now. So are they right in the long terms? I don't know, but they could be right. If we look at the winds they're predicting for this. So keep in mind, for 98L, they predicted the PCAT 2. So let's see here. Right now, in the next 3 hours, they predict to be 45 mile per hour. I don't think it's going to be a tropical storm in the next 6 hours. So that's, in my opinion, that's wrong. But let's say in the next 30 hours, 40 knots, it stays around 40 knots. Maybe. Unlikely, but possible. Then it does strengthen 60, 70, then it becomes a Category 1 hurricane. Unlikely, but not out of the question. I think it will be a tropical storm by then. But then it does keep it as a Category 1 hurricane and makes landfall as a Category 1 landfall. So I think landfall as a Cat 1, possible. I don't think it will become a Cat 1 as soon as it's showing, but I think landfall in Florida as a Category 1, not out of the question. Not out of the question. But I just wanted to show this because I thought it was very, very, very interesting. Also, very quickly, I just want to say that Genevieve has weakened to a weak Cat 2, at most Cat 1. So just say Recon has not been able to find stronger than 80 knots, which shows that very quick weakening there. So I do hope you guys enjoyed this video, and before I go, I just want to show you what I think the track will be for each of their system and how strong I do expect this to be. I haven't had the time to actually make my own graphic like I usually do. But for 97L, I think it's gonna clip here and then move towards like this, making landfall as a category 1. And then 98L, I think it's gonna move right clip north again, and then make this turn a little bit like this. And I think it will make landfall in Florida as a category 2 hurricane, but maybe peak at cat 3. But I think the 97L will be a strong tropical storm to category 1, and I think 98L could be a between cat 2, maybe category 3. So that's my predictions. As always, subscribe and thanks for watching this video.